The question number 13 is derivatives of trigonometric functions, where you use the differentiation rules. Here, this is again in the MCQ part. That is you will have four options. So you can use the calculator method, which was told in the previous video. That is question number 11. Now, before we begin, let's look into the formulas. These are the formula of trigonometric functions. Sine is cosine, and cos or cosine is negative sine. Always remember, whenever there is either it's cosine, cotangent, or cosecant, what happens is you will always have negative signs. Oh, my bad. This I just realized now. There should be minus sign here and minus sign here. Okay. Wherever there is only secant, where is secant or tan or tangent, sine or secant, it's always positive. The formula is like the sine and cos will be opposite of each other, but for cos derivative, it will be a negative sign in the answer. So sine is cos is negative sine. What about tan? Tan is secant square x, whereas cot is cosecant square x, but there's a minus sign here. Whereas secant is secant times tan, and cosecant is cosecant. Instead of secant, we have cosecant, and instead of tan, we have cot. It's very simple. If you go through these formulas, you'll easily understand it. Now let's look into one problem over here. Any of this, let's take this is a bit bigger. What you need to do over here, directly use the power rule. It's very straightforward. As you go, it is derive this part individually. 2 comes down to be 8x, that's it, to the power 1, minus 3 is a constant, leave it. Tan 2x will be, tan derivative is secant x, but we don't, I'll write it over here. Tan x derivative would be secant square x. But now instead of x, we have 2x, so we have to write 2x. So the derivative would be secant square of 2x. And we have to do the chain rule. Once we are done with the tangent function, this is done. Tangent function is done. What is remaining? 2x. What is the derivative of 2x? It's only 2. So this is the answer. We'll rearrange and write 2x minus 3 times 2 is 6 secant square of 2x. This would be the final answer. You can see over here. Let me just take it out. 8x minus 6 secant squared 2x. That's the same thing what we got. The problems are very, very straightforward. You can do the same thing. Now look over here. This is, let me just do this one over here. Anyway, the answer is visible, but I'll just do it right over here. What you need to understand is, I think so there are problems about this in the further problems as well, but let me just do this one. Whenever you have tan to the power 3x, remember like this. This is for the entire function, because tan, the function, the trigonometric function, is powered up. So this is equal to tan x the whole power 3. Okay. But if it was tan x to the power 2, then it is only to the x. Okay, this is how it is. Now if you solve this, 3 comes down, it will be 3 tan square x. But this one, what happens is, this is not over, chain rule. The power is done. Now solve the inner part. What is the inner part? Secant square x. That's how we do it. Now what about this one? Here, you need to first solve the outer function. It's like an onion, right? The chain rule. I will put a link on the chain rule to this lesson, because it's very important to understand chain rule. I'll just put the link for the differentiation because of the trigonometric function, because in that it's explained in detail. So please, if you want more explanation or more details, click on that link. Now here, this is firstly done. That's secant square x square. Okay. And now you need to do the inner function, that is x squared will be 2x. So this is the chain rule. Okay. And now over here the same thing. See, the 3 is first solved. 3 comes down, tan square 2t. And this 2 over here is another 2 which is written at the end. Okay, because it's the you can write it next to it. That would make more sense. Okay. Now what about this thing? Here, what just happened? Okay, sorry. It is, my bad. It is correctly written. Look at this part. I will just solve it over here. Tan cube 2t. So this is basically 3 comes down, tan square 2 times t multiplied. Now the power is done. Power is done. This is equal to tan 2t the whole cube, isn't it? The power is done. Now what is next? The trigonometric function. So multiply it with the trigonometric function, that is secant square of 2t. Then you have to do the last inner part. This is the function remaining. 2t derivative will be only 2. This is how it's done. Now same thing over here. Minus, what happens? The 4 comes down. Cosecant cube 3t. Now you derive cosecant. The derivation of cosecant is what? Secant is secant times tan, but cosecant will be, first is minus sign, and cosecant over here it's not x, it's 3t multiplied by cotangent, not tan, it's cot 3t, and this minus is only for this part. And lastly you have to do the inner function. What is the inner function here? This 3t, that will be multiplied by 3. So this would be the answer. So you can simplify this. 3 times 4 is minus 12. Minus and minus becomes plus. This 2 minus becomes plus. And here we have cosecant cube and cosecant to the power 1. Just simplify this. It will be cosecant to the power 4 3t, and you have cot 3t. So this would be the simplification for this. Even over here it will be 6. Only simplification will be this will be 6. So that's how we do it. Now, how would you do it in calculator if it was, trigonometry? I would highly recommend you not to use calculator, because there'll be answers are huge. You will take a long time. Sometimes it might hang and everything. But anyways, all you need to do is, let's take out the calculator first. You need to make it into radian mode because it's trigonometry. Shift mode and 4. Now let's put this value. Shift dy by dx alpha x multiplied by cos phi x square. Now what is the x value? Close the bracket over here. Now what's the x value? I will take x to be x equals 2. Now I just put it as 2. It's much better if you take pi and stuff, but anyways, it doesn't matter. You will get the correct answer itself. So the answer noted down is negative 36.109727. Now then, what you do is, see the 4 options over here. This is the answer, right? Substitute here cos phi. Instead of x, you have to put 2 square, close the bracket, minus 10 into 2 square multiplied with sine phi times 2 square, close the bracket. The answer will be the same, doesn't matter what. But if it's not in radian mode, you'll get wrong answer. This is very straightforward. We have done it previously. But what if the value is not in terms of sine, cos, or tan? If it's secant, what do? It's fine as long as you remember secant is equal to 1 by cos, or cosecant is equal to 1 by sine. If it is s over here, it's 1 by c. So opposite of that. If it is cosecant c over here, then it will be s down. So we have to use this. Let's do this. Shift dy by dx. X square is alpha x square multiplied by, now you can't use secant, it's 1 by cos 4 alpha x. And now put the x value over here, 2. Let me solve it. It's 720.243. Let's remember that in the minds. And then let's look into the answer. No, I'll just write it because I'll get confused a bit. Anyways, x was 2 and the answer is 720.2430167. Now then, what you do is type, why I'm writing so many decimal is if another one is very close by 170, so these decimals are required. Anyways, now over here it is 4 into 2 square multiplied with secant. Again, you need to do the same thing, 1 by Oh, cos. Did I put cos just a while ago? I think so, yes. Anyways, 4 into 2, close the bracket. Now, tan is directly multiplied with tan 2, 4 times 2, okay? It's the same thing, 2 times 4 or 4 times 2. Close the bracket and close the main bracket, which I used. Oh, sorry. No, there is this bracket ends later for the entire terms, right? No, sorry. This is for this term plus. Now I'll write plus 2 into 2 multiplied with secant. Again, it's 1 by cos 4 into 2, close the bracket. And the answer is 720.24301. It'll be the same, doesn't matter what. So this is how you can directly check the answers, provided you need to have the options. Even over here, you can do it by yourselves. But here you're using quotient rule. Even over here, quotient rule and solve it. So in such cases, it's very helpful to use the calculator method. Okay, you can try this. Very straightforward. As long as you're changed to radian and you've substituted all values properly, you will get the correct answer. Please do try to solve these problems as well. Now, if there are two variables, in such cases, there'll be only one variable. If there are two variables, like we had one case in the inverse one, you can't use your calculator. But always the derivative will be one variable, so not to worry. So these are the answers. You can pause and check the answers. Try it by yourselves. Same concept. Remember the formulas and apply. Again, same over here. But let's quickly see here. This is again it's just long but very easy. It's just that it'll keep on going. See, power rule first, then cos, then you have to use the sorry, this power rule entirely, and then multiply it with, yeah, square times this thing. Then you're deriving the cos, and then you're deriving the square root. There are so many things. It's just one by one by one. Sorry, I got confused over here. Over here, we are using the product rule. This one function, this one. Sorry, the chain rule, and then there is a chain rule inside a chain rule. I hope this doesn't come. If this comes, just use the calculator method. You'll get the answer. But this is just a huge one. See, there's a chain rule. This is x. So inside this again, x, and oh god, this just keeps on going. So try it out, because if you look carefully, you'll understand, okay, this is a chain rule. Then inside again, chain rule and another chain rule. So it just complicates stuff. Now, this one's important, these ones. I'll do this because there's a high probability some of these might be asked. Because, they won't ask you huge problem. The same concept is used. It's just a long one. If such problem comes, use the calculator method. It'll save time. But now, over here, I'll write these problem. A is sine x square. This is only for x. B is sine square x, that is sine the whole x the whole square. And last one, C, is just sine 2x. Now when you derive this over here, the first outer function will be sine, so it will be cos x square multiplied by 2x. That's it. Here, the 2 is the power rule first. 2 sine x to the power 1 multiplied by cos x. That's it. Then x, we again derive, it will be 1 itself, so we don't write it. Then over here, it will be cos 2x into 2. So these are the answers. See, all these three have unique answers. You can see over here, this was, the 2 is always written first, see the coefficient. So it's 2 cos 2x. This was 2 sin x cos x. And lastly, we had the first one, we had 2x cos x squared. That's how we do it. Same concept over here. It is just that we have power half. Same thing. It'll just be, take this as x power half. And then half comes down, x to the power negative half. You can see because it's square root. And then we write sine root x. So this is the same thing. Same concept is translated. Please do try to solve them by yourself. Over here, you have to use product rule. You can see the first one is by product rule, second one is by chain rule, and this one again is by chain rule. See, I'll just tell you, this product rule is very simple. You know that rule is, u dash v plus uv dash. That's what is used over here. Now they have just written another form. I'll solve this quickly. The first term is u and this is v. So u dash would be, this square is only for x. Okay. So what we write over here is basically sine will become cos x square into 2x multiplied by the second term tan x plus, now leave this term as it is, sine x square multiplied by the derivative of tan is secant square x. Let's just compare y. Okay, they have just done this term first. See, this is over here and the second term is over here. Only for product rule you can write this formula anyhow because it's plus, right? You can write uv dash plus u dash v. But for quotient rule, don't change it because it's minus, it will be wrong. Now the next one over here, again 2 comes down, the power rule first, sine of, instead of x we have tan x. Now that is done. Now do the sine, sorry, it'll be cos of tan x. And lastly, what's the inside function? Tan x will be secant square x. This will be the answer. Let's just check. Yes, that's the answer. And last one over here, same thing. First, what you have to derive is this. Sine becomes cos, but instead of x, we have tan square x. Okay, this is done. Multiply it with, now there is a power rule over here. So do the power rule first, 2 tan x. Now do this outer function, tan function. So it is secant square x. That's the answer. Yeah. And they have just rearranged and written it, but you can write it like that. That's more than enough. So it's just that you should understand it's like peeling an onion, outer things first and then you come inside. So that's basically how we do it. You can please refer to this and solve more problems on yourself for practice. And that's about derivative of trigonometric functions. There are a few links on the description, in the description down below. You can please refer them as well for more understanding. And if you want in detail calculator method, please refer the question number 11, I believe. Yeah. So that's it. All the best. Practice more problems, guys.